Hey guys, how's it going? Nathaniel Tabor here with your tropical update for September 13th, 2020. Currently, you're looking at a visible satellite loop of Tropical Storm Sally in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. First thing you can notice as you look at this imagery is it appears the low-level center of Sally is somewhat detached or decoupled from the mid-level center and overall deep convection associated with the storm. That was due to a little bit of northwesterly shear coming in and interacting with the storm itself. However, that shear is backing off, and you can see overall ventilation for the storm as we see these high cirrus clouds streaming away almost in all directions now from the deep convection. We do expect the storm to become better organized and stack on top of itself. Is why the Hurricane Center does try to bring this in as a hurricane, a strengthening hurricane at that. So let's take a look at that. The forecast track from the National Hurricane Center brings us in as a hurricane at about 8 a.m., 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Tuesday. Moving very slow. As you can see, 8 p.m. here, 12 hours earlier, it's just off the coast, and 12 hours later at 8 a.m. Tuesday morning, it's still just barely inland. And then 8 p.m. Tuesday, it's barely moved as well. So the main issues with this, I'm thinking, is probably going to be torrential rainfall. Some of the model runs from the ECMWF, better known as the Euro, are forecasting as much as 45 to 50 inches of rain. And while overdone, I do believe it does highlight the potential for this storm to have banding features coming in off the Gulf and dropping torrential rains in this area. So we're going to have to watch very closely for flooding as well as storm surge in this area. Upper level environment over Sally is looking increasingly conducive for future strengthening. As you can see here off to the north in these red areas, we do have quite a bit of shear. That shear is continuing to back north as time goes on, and Sally currently is sitting in a very, very favorable environment for strengthening. So we should continue to see the storm become better organized throughout the day, stack on top of itself with that low-level and mid-level center. And as the pressure does fall, it evacuates air from the center, and we will probably see those winds go up as well. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. The spaghetti runs for this storm, as you can see right now, the consensus, again, brings into southeast Louisiana. So that's why the Hurricane Center is so confident in their forecasting with that. But the guys over there do a great job. So I do expect the storm to move into southeastern Louisiana, but I do think the main threat is probably going to be rainfall and storm surge, as this is only forecast to be a minimal hurricane, Category 1, maybe threshold Category 2 hurricane coming in. So the reconnaissance flights are finding a low-level reading of 998 millibars, which the low-level center, as they're saying, is right about here, which is interesting because, as you can see on the visible satellite right here, it appears that the low-level center is over here. So that could mean one of two things: either that the low-level center is decoupled, and they're finding the mid-level center has been burrowing down to the center, or to the lower levels of the atmosphere rather, and reforming a new center of circulation underneath this deep convection, or that this really isn't the center of circulation we're seeing decoupled. It's just some kind of strange banding feature eddy to the north of the storm. We're going to have to keep a close eye on that, as that can impact how the models read the storm and how they forecast it, and it also could impact future intensification. The current slew of models, as you can see, keep the storm at around 36 to 48 hours at about a Category 1 threshold Category 2 storm. Once again, highlighting that the main risk from the storm is probably going to be storm surge and rainfall. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on that. Okay, let's get into Hurricane Paulette. Hurricane Paulette is currently spinning away in the Atlantic, looking better and better as the day goes on. Very nice banding features coming in. As you can see here, the island of Bermuda up in the upper left portion of your screen is in the direct path of the storm, as the Hurricane Center is highlighted. This is the forecast track from the National Hurricane Center, taking the hurricane directly over the island of Bermuda. Hopefully the people there have had time to prepare properly and have been taking the storm seriously, as it will be intensifying as it moves over the island. And as storms intensify as they come over land, we find that they often have better ability to propagate some of those winds from the upper levels down to the lower levels of the atmosphere, just simply because the atmosphere is being more mixed in storms that are still intensifying as opposed to storms that are weakening coming to the coast. Model runs are in very good agreement. As you can see, the spaghetti tracks take it directly over the island of Bermuda and then strengthen it to a major hurricane north of the island of Bermuda and then take it out to sea and kill it. So all the models are in very good agreement. So if you are in Bermuda, the time is now to batten down the hatches and get ready for the next 12 hours as those tropical storm force winds and eventually hurricane force winds make their way on into Bermuda. The slew of intensity here, as you can see, about 60 hours 48 to 60 hours have it about peak intensity. Most models are about Category 3, upper and Category 2, which I do find pretty reasonable given the upper environment and lower sea surface temperatures. But fortunately, it looks like it will reach that major hurricane status after it passes the island of Bermuda. So it looks like the island of Bermuda itself may be spared the worst of this storm as it moves out over the open water. Okay, Tropical Depression 20. Tropical Depression 20 is forecast to basically be a fish storm. A lot of the models are just taking it out into the Central Atlantic. So it looks like the high pressure system that is currently in the Central Atlantic that would normally, could be stronger and try to nudge these storms further west, maybe weaker, which would allow this storm and escape route to basically just go due north out into the middle of the Atlantic and not hurt anybody and not hurt a thing, which would be the best case scenario, considering some of these models do take this storm down to around 940, 955 millibars, which is borderline Category 3, Category 4 storm. So as long as it stays out in the open Atlantic, we shouldn't have anything to worry about. It is possible that as time goes on, this ridge builds a bit in over the top a bit more, and possibly pushes the storm a bit further west towards Bermuda yet again. But it right now it does not look entirely favorable for that to happen, which is a good thing. But we will keep our eye on it as time moves forward. You can see here with the National Hurricane Center's track for Tropical Depression 20. It takes up to tropical storm status later on today, and eventually brings it up to a hurricane. Later, early next week, and again takes it off towards northwest. Bermuda, you're going to have to watch this one again. However, it does look like this ridge will be weak enough for the time being that it will allow the storm an escape route to the north. So, breathe a sigh of relief where you can. But it does look like this increasingly active season will continue for the time being. Thank you for joining me, and have a great day.